Hi, everybody. Welcome back to our show. We're an open book. My name is Chris McMurray.
And I'm Gene McMurray.
He's my husband, and he'll be behind the scenes making sure everything is running smoothly.
But as always, I'll be telling you what I think all along the way.
I have no doubt. On this show, we discuss those difficult situations that a lot of families go through, but are often not talked about. Here we will, because, like we said, we're an open book. In our relationship, we've dealt with marriage, divorce, remarriage, to each other, addiction, sobriety, losing a business because of injury, and the ultimate sorrow of losing our son, Scott.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to our channel. It is so nice to have you with us again. And hi, sweetheart, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you? It's been so long since I've seen you.
I'm doing good. You excited for today's show?
Yes, I am.
But let's just take care of a little bit of business before we get started.
Yep.
I know that everybody that watches YouTube videos, they're always asked to like, subscribe, and the whole deal.
It is, but it is very important to do that.
It gives us a chance to spread our message to just a little bit of a broader audience.
And we're all about those spreading the hope and the love.
Indeed. So if you can just hit the subscribe button below, we would really appreciate it. Thanks a lot for listening to that.
Thank you.
Are you ready to go now?
I am.
You know, I was talking to a friend the other day about the channel and the podcast.
Yeah.
And he asked me how I feel about rehashing all these issues that we talk about all the time.
Yeah, well, did you tell him? Because that's what we do. We're an open book. But being an open book does cut down on our TV time.
I don't know if that's a good thing. But speaking of TV, have you watched anything good lately?
Oh, yes, I have.
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, I watched this show that fits perfectly in our conversation.
Let me guess.
Go ahead.
90 Day Fiancé.
No, been there, done that.
Married at First Sight.
Getting closer.
Okay, I give up. What is it?
Indian Matchmaker.
Oh my God.
I love this show. I watched 2 seasons in about 10 days. And after watching this show, I really think matchmaking is the way to go.
Well, honey bunny, I am sorry to tell you, it's a little too late for us and a matchmaker.
Yeah.
I'm afraid you're stuck with me.
Well, I guess I'll keep you.
No, in keeping with our wedding theme, we're going to talk about the trials and tribulations of our first engagement and wedding planning.
Last month, we talked about how we came together and how our different backgrounds and families created tensions in our relationship. And everybody thinks that when you get engaged, you're just so happy and it's going to be so much fun to plan a wedding. But the big secret is it's not fun and it's going to be stressful. So let me burst your bubble right now. It's so stressful. At least it was for us.
Well, I guess we're both a little bit different and we had different stressors. What was it for you that got you so uptight?
Well, for me, it's just that I'm not a planner. And I have no interest in picking out flowers and invitations or creating a menu or any of those things that go into planning a wedding.
Yeah, but some people live for that stuff.
I know, and good for them. Have at it. It is just not for me.
Here's what got to me. I just don't like to see people disappointed and think that they were mistreated somehow.
Yeah, I know.
You know, but one of the things that I worried about is when you bring a large group of people together like this, there's going to be some people that just don't get along.
Why can't we all get along?
Why am I sitting with this guy? You know, you can't put those people together.
I know.
But there's also, you know, the protocol about where people sit in the hall. Are they sitting up front or are they way in the back? Why am I sitting way back here? You just can't keep everybody happy.
No, somebody is not going to be happy. And then there's the guest list, and that's another complicated issue. There was a limit to the number of guests that we could invite, and our family members insisted on certain people that they wanted there.
Yeah, it's just so hard. The guest list was an area that we just had so little control over.
Yeah, but as we were making the plans for that year, we realized we had zero control over anything. And we worked for a year planning everything, and we thought everything was set up. The venue, the guests, we were set. But we're 6 weeks away from our wedding day.
We thought we were ready, like you said, but all of a sudden, everything got turned upside down and changed.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, we're going to turn to our books as we like to do in each episode and do a little short reading, and I think it'll explain the rest of the discussion. Chris, you ready?
Yes, thank you.
Go for it.
2 months before the wedding, tragedy struck. Gene stopped by his mother's house on a Sunday morning when she had not answered the phone. A birthday dinner for her at Grace's home had been planned for later that day. When he walked in, he saw her. She was laying at the bottom of the stairs, dead. She had apparently tripped and fallen down the stairs at some time during the night. We were all devastated, especially Gene and his sisters, Barbara and Eileen. Their father had died when Jean was just 11 years old. Now their mother was gone too. It was a very difficult and sad time. I wanted to cancel the wedding and just elope, but Eileen, Barbara, and Grace talked us out of it. They said their mom would have been so disappointed if we did that. She was happy for us and would have wanted the wedding to go on as planned. So we had our wedding. Walking down that aisle, I had no doubt that this was right. After the wedding, we bought his mother's house. It was left to Gene and his sisters, so we just bought out their shares. At first, I did not want to live there. I wanted a fresh start, not the home where his mother had just died. Gene really had to convince me. The home had been in the family since 1954. It was now a two-family house converted after his dad died. We agreed to live there for maybe 2 years and then would buy a new home together. For the next year, Gene and I settled into married life. We worked, we went out, spent time with our many friends, and we truly enjoyed being together. Gene was still not drinking, and we were happily planning for our next step, a baby.
Thanks for reading that, Chris. I think when anybody loses a parent, it's just a difficult time. But when it happens 6 weeks before your wedding, boy, does that complicate things.
Absolutely.
We were lost. We didn't know which way to go.
No.
How were we going to move forward?
And this was one of the times I suggested we elope.
That seems.
But I suggested that we elope plenty of times.
You did. But at the time, that really did seem like the way to go. But the thing was, everything was bought and paid for.
Yeah.
And again, we just didn't want to disappoint all the other people that surrounded this event.
I know, because we are people pleasers.
But we're working on it.
Starting now.
20 to 40 years later, 37? Yeah. Oh my God.
We're not going to people please no more.
It's really hard to face a wedding just 5 weeks after your mother's funeral. There were things to consider, like your father-daughter dance. And I had nobody. Both of my parents were gone.
I know. And I really didn't want to do the dance with my dad because I felt so bad for you and for your mom. But you really encouraged me to have that dance with my father.
I didn't want to take that away from you, as hard as it was. You only have one wedding. And
Some people do.
Well, some people only have one wedding. Yeah. But I didn't want to take that moment away from you and your dad.
Well, thank you. I mean, that is very unselfish of you, and it's one of the many reasons why I love you.
Tell me another.
What, right now?
Okay, never mind.
No, I mean off the top of my head. Get back to me in a little bit.
But there were also other, albeit far less tragic events that happened. And unplanned issues that threw a monkey wrench into things.
Absolutely. Like the kitchen fire at the venue and the day before our wedding. The kitchen was destroyed. The caterer, though, he handled it well, and he cooked the food elsewhere and transported it to the hall. And there was only a slight smell of smoke in the dining room.
The slightest hint.
Yeah, people really didn't know what was happening.
But they were surprised when they didn't get barbecue.
That's true.
Right? Okay.
That's true.
But the caterers really did an amazing job putting it together. The food was flawless.
It was. It was really delicious.
The music lady at the church, on the other hand, she didn't do such a great job.
No, she did not. And we had a meeting with her 2 weeks earlier to set it all up because we wanted certain songs.
Let me set the scene for you. It was 20 minutes before the wedding. So I walk over to the lady when she arrived just to check with her that everything was okay, and she had the songs ready for our wedding that we had planned. And she looked at me like I was nuts, that I had no idea what she was talking about. She forgot all about our meeting and our special songs.
Yeah.
Now, you're in the back of the church getting ready to walk down the aisle with your dad. So you had no idea that any of this was going
No,
on.
I didn't. I didn't have a clue. So when it came time for one of our songs to be played and I didn't hear it, I looked at you wondering what was going on, and you just mouthed,
She
"She
forgot.
forgot.
She
She
forgot.
forgot."
Nobody, I guess, really noticed the change in the music, but we did. And I got to tell you, we were really disappointed at that.
Well, yeah, because that was the only thing we thought we had control over.
Nope, not even that.
Once again, we didn't.
But the wedding day did turn out well. We had a good times and a lot of great memories were made.
Yeah, it was a nice day, but that didn't erase the year of stress leading up to it. And like we mentioned earlier, some people look forward all their lives to a huge wedding with all the trimmings.
Yeah, that's great. But on the other hand, I bet there are a lot of people that don't want a traditional wedding, but they do it anyway because they just don't want to disappoint the people around them.
I know, I know.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I also think it's the disappointment, and I also think society tells them to. I mean, little girls are raised to believe that their wedding day is the most magical day. They get to be a princess that day. Now, you have to remember that they've dressed up their Barbies for her wedding from an early age. And also, little girls are also asked, "Who are you going to marry?" And they play act weddings all their time with their friends and their little bridal costumes.
And let's not also forget that there is big money in weddings. TV and magazines promote them all the time.
Yeah.
The bigger, the more expensive, the better. And Madison Avenue has a big influence on a lot of things we do in our lives, weddings included.
I know.
How do you think times have changed?
Well, I think some times have changed. Yes and no. The big wedding day will probably always be a thing. But more and more couples are finding ways to get married that's more suited to their lifestyles.
I'm glad that people feel the freedom in planning their special day their way.
Absolutely. Whatever way you want to get married is what you should do. You do you.
So that has been just a little behind the scenes look at our wedding. As much as I had fun that day, and I did, I remember how relieved I was when it was all over and we could take off on our honeymoon.
Yeah, that was my favorite part. Vail, Colorado, skiing for a week.
Remember when you got lost on the mountain? I never thought I was going to see you again.
I got so lost. Who gets lost? I did. I ended up taking a wrong turn. I ended up, I think, on the other side of town. I had to find a bus to take me back to the resort.
I'm married 3 days, and I'm going to have to run back to New York and tell your dad I lost her.
Yeah, that would go over well. I can just see you putting my picture on a milk carton too. And how about when you wiped out right in front of Scott Hamilton and the U.S. ski team?
Let's not talk about that. Chris, one more time, why don't you tell everybody where we can get our book and what we're doing with the proceeds?
Yep. Live, Laugh, Fly is available on Amazon, and 100% of proceeds will help benefit children's cancer programs.
And I think there is also a link on the banner of our YouTube page where you can just click on it and buy it. So that's it.
Well, let's
couple
tell
other things. Yeah, let's a couple other things. Let's talk about if you saw something on the program today, something that resonated with you, or you have a funny story or any kind of story from your wedding you think applies, let us know about it. We'd love to share it here on the program.
Absolutely. You can email us at rememberloveneverdies@gmail.com.
What about our Facebook page?
We have a Facebook page. It's called We're an Open Book, and you can look at that and you can comment there also.
And of course, you can leave a message for us in the comments below. And again, we would really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel.
Yes, please do. And always remember,
the most important thing of anything we say today:
love never dies.
Love never dies, folks. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Thank you.